Equipment checks, an important thing we used to do in the military, and it's important to do when you're traveling. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today with Coffee with Alain. Thank you for joining me. I have Teaching from the Heart mug this morning because I really do enjoy teaching. And I do teach from the heart, and I really do want people to stay safe. Got some travel coming up. That's why we're going to have a travel tip today. But also the travel is going down to Arizona to teach some active shooter response to a school down there and some reflex protect training as well. It's a combined class. And I want to just remind people that if you know schools, churches, businesses, different organizations that need some training or want some training in what they can do to save lives, things they can do before, during, and after one of these terrible events to help minimize the casualties and save lives, have them get a hold of me. I mean, there are a lot of active shooter programs out around the country, some good, some not so good. I don't know all of them, but I know there are a lot out there. Now, here's a little plug. If you want a good course, you want somebody that knows the topic, get a hold of me. Okay, I didn't go to a weekend seminar to learn about this stuff. You know, I wrote this book. I've taught thousands and thousands of people, been doing it for years and years. So have them get a hold of me if you want some good training without injuries, without traumatizing people, and to help empower them to help keep people alive. That's my little advertisement this morning. So if you know organizations, have them get a hold of me because I do enjoy teaching and I do want to help people stay more safe. With that said, Friday and Saturday's Coffee with Alain are going to be at different times because of my travel schedule. Want to say good morning to Jay and Vicky. Appreciate you guys showing up and saying hello. Now let's talk about a little travel tip. Equipment checks. So it's an important thing. You know, we went in the military, especially, we're going to jump out of an airplane. We did an equipment check. We did equipment checks all the time, different missions to make sure we have the stuff that we needed and that everything was proper. Your travel is going to vary, just like my travel varies. What I take on this trip is different than what I took on the trip last week to Vegas, which is different than what I took on the trip 2 months ago to Disneyland, and so forth. So I'm not going to get into specifics for your trip. You're going to pack appropriately for your destination and what you're doing. But regardless, we're going to have equipment checks. The first equipment check is before you leave the house. Do you have everything you need for the trip? And I like to make lists. I mean, write it down on a piece of paper, make an actual list that you can make sure you have everything. Now, when you get to the airport, when you go through TSA, there's another little equipment trip after you're through TSA. Do you have everything that you sent through the x-ray machine? I have to take my wallet out and put it in my bag because my credit card set off the metal detector. I have TSA pre-check, so I go through the metal detector, but I do have to take my wallet and I put it inside the bag. So my part of my equipment check is when I get my bag is taking the wallet back out and passport back out and putting them in the zippered pocket so they are zipped up in that pocket, not in my bag. And then make sure I have the different bags. So I have my backpack. Do I have the backpack and the carry-on if I'm carrying both? Okay. Make sure you have everything that you sent through before you head away from the TSA department. People leave stuff at TSA all the time. Make sure you have your stuff. Now we get on the plane. Before we get off the plane, there's another equipment check. You get in the bags that you brought on. Do you have everything that you brought on? You know how many phones and other things, tablets and things that are left on airplanes almost every day? This is common sense, right? Well, common sense not commonly practiced because people leave things at TSA. People leave things on the plane all the time. Do that little equipment check. Make sure you have your phone, your tablet, anything that you maybe took out of your bag to use while you're on the plane, and then maybe you put it in the pocket or beside the seat or whatever. Equipment check. Okay, so then we get off the plane, we check into our hotel or wherever we're staying. There's an equipment check before you go out and about. It's a different equipment check. Do you have your wallet? Do you have your hotel key to get back in? Do you have the things that you need to be out and about to wherever you're going? If you're doing a job, do you have the laptop that you need for the job, or so forth? Okay, so there's a little equipment check before we leave the hotel room every day when we're out traveling that makes sure we have the right things that we need. Then when we check out of the hotel, there's another equipment check, making sure we have everything. If you unpack, you put stuff in the closet or the drawers or the bathroom, wherever you were using your stuff, depending on how long you were there. Making sure that we have everything before we check out of the hotel room. Again, things are left in hotel rooms all the time. All right, so there's your other equipment check. Then the last equipment check, when we get home. Making sure we got everything home with us. We still did all the airport stuff. We're going through the second time, whatever. But when we get home, we do a final equipment check, make sure we have everything. Something missing, then we try to determine where we left it, where we lost it. And often, if you contact the different lost and founds, you can get things back. Not always, but often, different hotels, airlines and stuff in the lost and found are pretty good at trying to get stuff back to people if you can identify it and, get on it right away. So equipment checks are an important part of traveling to help keep us safe and enjoy our travels more. So use a list. Remember those checkpoints of where you should be checking things, and that can make your travel go more smoothly and more enjoyable. Dixon says paper. I'm sure there's an app for that. And there is. Well, I'm writing my list on paper. My daughter has hers on her phone. She creates her list and stuff on a phone. So yes, there's an app for that if you want to use it. I'm still old school and I write my lists on paper often. Jay says with or without lines. Exactly. We want to just do whatever. I don't care if it has with or without lines, right? Just make a list, paper, electronically. Just know what you're taking, plan your trips, do your equipment checks, make it more enjoyable. Steven says, great points. Also, when you have to take your wallet out, put it in your backpack or whatever bag you have. Just don't put your wallet in that X-ray box alone. And I agree with that, Steven, too. And that's why when I empty my pockets, the passport and wallet come out because they'll set off the detector, and I put it right there in the pocket of my backpack along with my watch if I take the watch off, and that's all secured in the backpack. I don't just toss junk into the thing. So I agree with you. If you have that bag, putting those things in there is way better. And then when things go through, the first thing I do is I get both the bags, move out of people's way. I take the wallet, the passport, put them back in my zippered pocket, put my watch back on, make sure I have everything. Then we head toward the gate. So that's a good point as well. Appreciate you emphasizing that. And I appreciate everybody joining me. Go to enjoylifesafely.com and sign up for the newsletter if you haven't done that before. Working on this weekend's newsletter already. It will go out on Sunday. And in case you're traveling like I am, have a fantastic trip. Be safe and have a wonderful Wednesday.